What is the one thing that will move the real estate market moving forward for Acadiana here coming up in 2022? Now, as we wind down December, we've got half the month left, but we're going to go through and go jump through some November stats that have gone through. November 2021 closed sales, we had a nice 14.38% uptick in sales, 366 compared to 320. Year to date, we are still absolutely crushing it, 22.6% year to date. One other thing, we ended up having a nice little uptick from October. From the previous month, we're up 8% in closed sales. Dollar volume told us a similar story. We had a $97 million month for Lafayette Parish as a whole. That's up 18.76%, which is 81.7 million from as far as the dollar volume. So what that tells us, not only are we selling more properties, but we're selling more properties at a higher price. And we're going to go and jump into that in just a second. Now, if we're going to compare some of these numbers compared to 2019, our last normal year that we had going on, our sales units were up just under 41%. And our dollar volume's up 62% compared to 2019. So things are just absolutely going bananas, completely crazy from what we're used to. Now, moving forward, we always want to know and think about where is the market heading? Where is it going? What do we look at? So we take a look at two things. First, homes that are coming onto the market. That's new homes for sale. Think of that, the signs in the yard. Whether it doesn't matter what company that happens to be, but think of signs that are popping up in the yard. We ended up having 395 new listings that took place in November 2021, 362 last year. That's a 9% increase month over month. And we're up roughly 13% year to date. So normally supply being on the rise is not necessarily a good thing. This year, totally different animal. We're still working with fewer homes on the market than we were previous years. Matter of fact, this time last year, we're working with just under 20% fewer homes than we are this year, which is crazy because we're still managing to sell more of it. We're outpacing the homes coming off the market. That's pending sale, buyers and sellers having a meeting of the minds running through there. We had a 9.5% increase in pending sales, November versus November. That's 405 versus 370. Year to date, we're up just under 21% as far as the homes coming off the market. We're still running at a pretty brisk pace. Now, if we look back towards October, slight dip, 6.9% decrease from October 21. Fairly typical. Typically, our holiday traffic tends to kind of die down. This year, it's a little bit different. We're actually on the way up. We're up over November versus November. Average sales price, another impressive number that's been jumping up. We're at $260,600 compared to $240,832, just under a 10% increase from this time last year. So, our time on, and one thing that's also been pretty surprising is our time on market is down from 75 to 36 days, which, things that are coming on market are coming off at a pretty brisk pace. It's down 39 days, more than half of the time on market that it was experiencing back in 2020 during actual COVID numbers. Lafayette Parish, another interesting fact, we're on pace to exceed $1.2 billion in closed residential dollar volume, possibly even hit the 1.25. Last year, we barely missed $1 billion in total sales by about 25-30 million. It was extremely close. Now, the one thing that will potentially slow us down could be the potential rise in rates. Interest rates are still holding fairly steady at on a 30-year fixed 3 to 3.25, depending on some of the circumstances that happen to be jumping in. About a half point, not a half point, 2.75 to 2.875 on government. The 15-year is about a half point cheaper than the 30-year fixed. Again, all circumstances are going to be running a little bit different. So inventory is still tight. Although we did see an increase in the total number of homes coming on the market, we saw an increase over and above that supply chain that was running through for homes coming off the market. So what that looks like moving forward, at least for the near future, more than likely we'll see a similar climate to what we've been experiencing the last couple of months. That also means, with that interest rate potentially rising over into the future, that could put a little bit of downward pressure on the sales price of houses. But while there is a limited supply, great time for those folks that are kind of on the fence thinking about making the move. If you're interested to see what your equity position happens to look like, I'd love to sit down with you, give you an idea of where you're going and where you're heading, what that happens to look like. If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can shoot me a direct message or contact me on my personal cell, 337-658-5690. I look forward to catching up with you guys soon. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy